Welcome to another episode of the CDK Stone Designer Collaboration Series. My name's Tony Victor, I'm one of the directors of CDK Stone. I'm joined this morning with Graham and Ollie from Studio Graham. We're here in Adelaide in this stunning restaurant, Fugazzi, which is now one of Adelaide's top restaurants. Graham, could we start by you telling us a little bit about Studio Graham?
Yeah, so we founded Studio Graham in 2014. Since then, we've grown to a team of 9. Ollie's one of those team members. He's an associate at Studio Graham. And we work quite a lot through kind of hospitality projects, residential work, and naturally that's kind of progressing now into some hotel work as well.
Can you tell us a little bit about the difference that you face when you're doing the hospitality projects and maybe the residential projects?
Yeah, so I think probably a key difference is there's probably 2. So one's the time frame. So most of our hospitality work kind of comes together and gets constructed quite quickly. So anywhere from kind of 8 to 12 months is a pretty realistic time frame for a hospitality project. Our residential work tends to extend to more around that kind of 2 to 3 year range. And I think the other key difference is probably just the kind of emotional attachment that clients have to those projects. So obviously, if you're going to live in a house, you know, hopefully for the rest of your life, that kind of level of attachment to the decision-making process and just the process in general is much higher than it is with our hospitality work.
Right, fantastic. So we're here in Fugazzi, as I said before. It's an amazing restaurant. Can you tell us about the brief that the client gave you in creating this restaurant?
Yeah, so I think the key word that drove the original brief was felt. So that there was this idea of kind of luxury and wanting to bring back that luxury to the dining scene. There was a nod to kind of the famous Italian New York style venues, and a kind of key part in delivering that for us was reconsidering how the existing venue worked, and one of those moves was moving the entry. So we relocated the entry so that people actually come in through the bar, and it kind of drives that process from the front door where you're kind of greeted at the bar, you're offered a seat and some snacks, and then you're brought in to the dining room, and hopefully we get people to retire back at the bar as well. So kind of taking that dining process and the idea of dining and elongating it.
So as far as the stone side of things, what part of the process do you start looking at what materials you're going to be incorporating in the project?
Yeah, well, I think for us, we start from the outset through the very early process with the client, kind of working through the moods, and then kind of helps develop the material palette that we're looking at. So the stone that you see today is definitely came really quick from the start, and we built on that.
Great. I see you've done some amazing detail with some of the stone that we're using. So a couple of the products that you've used. So you've got Rosso Levanto on the bench tops.
Yep.
So it's got this deep red wine, rich colour, and you've sort of tied that in with the Calacatta Viola that adorns the walls and the tables in the restaurant, which I think altogether it just ties together beautifully. It looks amazing. As far as the seating arrangements out the back here, you've got the Calacatta Viola on the bench tops, and you've got some real banquettes. It's a real sort of array of seating that you've created here.
The intent is that it's an experience. You come in for dinner, you might come in, you get a greet at the bar. You know, while your table is getting ready, you sit down and make your drink. You know, you get to actually witness the drink making process with this kind of flat bar, which is quite uncommon for hospitality projects. And then once you've had your drink, you might then get moved into your table inside, and we've got an array of seating options. We've got banquettes, we've got booths, we've got big, large communal tables, which you've got birthday parties.
Can you tell us about some of the challenges that you faced in creating Fugazzi?
Yeah, so I mean, some of the challenges were probably not all worn by us. So there were probably more challenges that we created for others. So more specifically, a lot of the tradesmen that delivered this job. So Build Inc. were the builders on this job and did a kind of fantastic job managing the project. And more specifically, Ideal Stone was on all of the fabrication of the stonework that you see in here. And there's some really tricky details that were quite easy to draw, but probably not so easy to execute. So there's a lot of curved details on the ends of the bars, and there's some circular legs. And I think the level of kind of detail and execution that went into that is quite amazing.
That's right. A lot of the stuff that goes unseen, but the work that actually goes into creating it is really quite amazing.
Yeah, and it's probably, the backbone to our projects is all the people that actually deliver them on site.
Exactly. Well, I'd like to finish by thanking Graham, Ollie. Thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you, Studio Graham. Really great having you both here and walking us through this amazing restaurant. Thank you both very much.
You.
Thanks for having us.